Our upside targets have met. The pullback we faced after the run to the upside ended up being a bit bigger than anticipated. Due to that bigger drawdown, we must go over our momentum oscillators in order to gain an edge over direction bias to spot a potential opportunity. Welcome back to the channel on this happy Monday. This is ARCa. Let's dive into ticker symbol AZ. Let's kill them. What is up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Let's go ahead and dive in to ticker symbol AZ. And what you are observing here is actually some of my algorithms. Okay, so this is a script that is known as trendline. So it is able to give you pivot points based on previous lows and previous highs, right? So it'll kind of tell you when the bottom is in and when the top is in. We're looking at this on a major time frame, so the algorithm is not reading the pivots as well as it would in the shorter time frames. But the reason why I'm using it in a larger time frame is because it can display to us formations that we may be missing. So for example, here it actually did notice a regression right down here, of which I didn't notice in the shorter time frames. And in doing so, it displayed to me, I actually drew this, right? So it actually displayed to me an ascending channel, and one of which is practicing a very, very typical formation. And that is called an ABCD strategy, right? So let's just go ahead and kind of put that down just like this right here, right? This would mark A right down here. This would mark B, right? Then we are potentially on our way to C, and then, you know, we would consider touching back down at D. It depends on what's happening here, okay? Because I can already see that we've sort of done it one time already with a lot of deviation here, right? But these were, I guess this run here was the cleanest one that we've had so far, and it looks like price action is already on its way to the top. Now, the reason why you're seeing labels up here with the 64% bear lead over the bulls at 36% is simply because we are in the weekly time frame and we are on a downtrend recovering, okay? But now to finish off trend line, it's a really interesting indicator because it does give you also buy and sell signals, right? Consolidation or flatter volume is actually given to you by the X's marked at the bottom. We do have a buy signal printed in, actually, I think it fired off today, right? So that is very interesting that it would be giving us that signal. Now, the signal is also based upon a potential crossing over of the MACD. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the algorithm also has the MACD implemented within the price action itself. So you can see here that when we reach those, when we cross over, being right around here, we cross over the MACD, we turn into green, right? As we start to come down, then you start getting these orangey red candles, right? Until they become just dead red. Right, so you can see right over here, it started moving up. It started getting to that orange area, back down to red, and now in this area here, it did cross over, turn into green. So yeah, it has a momentum. It's a momentum-based indicator by the fact that it does have MACD built into the candles color themselves, right? So now the other ARQ indicator that I wanted to point out was, yes, this one right over here, giving us a strength value of the bears at 64 cents. But I'm actually specifically pointing this out because it's getting very close to crossing over the EMA 13 on the weekly time frame. And the reason this EMA 13 is in there is because that is the algorithm taking into account how many candles have actually been printed. It takes a score, right, of every candle that's printed upside of the EMA 13 versus every candle that's printed below the EMA 13, and that actually gives you a value right up here, right? So that is how this algorithm is working, and it is definitely showing that we could be shifting soon enough, as the strength value was a lot higher for the bears than it was for the bulls a few days ago. Okay, team, so that is currently what we're looking at here, and it is lining up pretty nicely considering the fact that we would be in the current price action here at about, yeah, I'd say about 64% from this top side. Right? So I guess we would we would find this out soon enough, right? So, and yeah, if you're looking at this mid band here to the bottom band here, price action currently, I guess you would consider that about 36% to the 50% area that we're facing up here, right? So we're gonna find out exactly how that moves, as the time continues here. So yes, I just wanted to give you a different perspective here, and it looks like price action, yeah, may be performing this ebb and flow here, and we should be, by practice, we should be on our way up towards that top side of about. I mean, yeah, this is a little ridiculous here, right? Please remember that this is a weekly time frame, and it does take it does take 7 dailies to complete this, right? So that's gonna, we're likely gonna move up here over the span of the next couple months at least, or maybe even few months to reach that area of around $3.53. I know that we have other targets that we've talked about, but I'm not sure that we even talked about it. Yeah, we've talked about $2.73 as a focus up here, and the top side being 283. So I guess it is sort of rhyming, and but still, yeah, we want to worry about these targets later, right? So the important thing here today is that we definitely got the top side target that we were talking about. We were speaking about particularly 178 to 182. Total range being 178 to 192 with a focus of 182, and price action essentially ripped right all the way up to $1.84 before pulling back, and that pullback, I really felt like we were going to be able to hold that 178 before continuing on to the upside, but it in fact didn't, right? So, and I did check the manipulation signals from the ARQ series indicators, similar to these, right? So these are just 2 of the 8 that would be released on the ARQ indicators. So definitely reach out to me, arqindicators@gmail, and we'll go ahead and get you situated there. But now speaking of this price action, the retracement was a little scary, right? So now going back down to the 12-hour time frame, which is going to display to us the after hours price, you can see here that we closed at $1.50. And I would actually like to express that it's okay that I did that. Now, the reason why I say that is because this particular regression, right, this one here, right, that leads all the way back, is part of the macro formation, right, the descending broadening wedge. And that is showing us that it is a support bottom currently of around 140 or 141. Right, so price action ended up closing at 150, and it's still technically upside of it. I'm sorry, it is upside of the bottom side support. So now, if we were to come back down here, I think it would be fine. I think it'd be entirely okay for us to use it again for a bounce to the upside. As you can see here, we've actually used it several times before bounces to the upside. Even here, right over here. So lots of iteration there, lots of counts. Right, so now, yeah, let's go ahead and touch down here on the 12-hour time frame and see what else we have just in case. Right, okay, yeah, this looks like it could be in line to pulling back to around that 142 to 140 cent zone. Okay, so now if we were to put down targets here based on the 12-hour time frame Gaussian band, this actually would show us that, yeah, we ended up getting a resistance up here of 184, and I think that may have been the top side. Oh, it was very close to the mean band. It was 187 here for the daily time frame mid band at 187 here. We got that 184, no problem. Now, if we're gonna pull back here, I think it would be the 12-hour time frame, and the very bottom side support of this is located at 142. So that's also rhyming with the bottom side of the top side of the formation, or resistance conversion into support, right? So in this case, yeah, I feel like I feel like this 12-hour candle breaking prior candle lows, that's already a sign that there could be a continuation to the downside, and there could be a further validation for support. As you can see here, this 12-hour time frame Gaussian band, we broke inside of it, continued on to the upside, and never actually came back down to validate or confirm that area of 142 before a continuation to the upside. And I don't mean 142 because it varies, right, as price action moves. What I meant is actually we never came back and validated the support of the Gaussian band before continuing to that upside. So yeah, this is looking like it's a probability here to face a short-term downside before a continuation onto the upside. So now, based on the 140 bottom that we ended up catching just about a few days ago, that, but just so that you're clear, right? So that, from that 140 bottom that we were talking about to the 182 top that we got, but it was actually 184, that marked off a 30.5% move to the upside. Just don't be mistaken that the moves that AZ is actually doing right now, they're actually pretty large. So definitely make sure to give TZ Trader Zero a follow, as he is the person that actually brought this ticker to light and giving the retail community an opportunity to get a good win, right? So please go ahead and give him a follow. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you his screen, right? My Twitter X screen, right? So this is him right here. Make sure to get that underscore Trader Zero underscore, because there are some imposters in there. You want to make sure that you can filter those out and make sure to follow the right person, right? So he is the founder of Investor Ignite, and this is definitely an incredible opportunity for everyone to join in, right? So let's go ahead and just hide the portrait screen here and come back to the analysis here and find out what's going on, right? So the first target that we actually were signaled to reach was around 192. But please remember that we use the 192 from the statistical setup. This is the 16.08% standard deviation, which would be the 68% of the results from the bell curve, or the standard distribution curve. So that is pretty much, I mean, we got like 90% to that target there, which is already showing that the statistics are playing very nicely here. And upon reading the further statistics here, we do have some further targets to look at, but I think that 16.07% move, I think that could have very well been, I guess we still have a little bit of room to maybe consider, right? So yeah, the reason why I didn't say that 192 would be the target is because we have to observe these things as a resistance or support range, right? Which is why we noted here the 192, and I was explaining to you guys how I hone in on targets, right? So, and we have the top side of this formation here being 178, and I generally don't even remember why we said 182, but I think it was due to this candle top right over here at 182. Oh yeah, it is, right? So this candle here was 182 top, and that was essentially the focus for the target that we faced today. And we said it was a very high likelihood that we would face that target. So what can momentum be suggesting now? I mean, first of all, we do have a downside pivot here, but I would like to express to you how powerful expansion is happening. So there are more shares being traded on average as the days go by. So this is good. It's just bringing attention towards the asset, and it's bringing attention for a particular upside continuation. As you can see here, we're still creating a series of higher lows, higher highs, and it is in essence just following a pattern for a bullish continuation, despite the fact that we have some pullbacks here and there. So now I wanted to bring up here, I think it may have been the 30, actually I'm finding the RSI support, right? I want to make sure to see where we can find that SMA 14 below price action or below the RSI signal, for us to find some type of, okay, I guess it might be here. The 12-hour time frame is displaying some type of support here within the gravitational zone of the bear weakness percentile. So please remember, your inner workings are your weakness percentile. Bull weakness, bear weakness. This is going to be the outer workings to be bull strength and bear strength percentile. And within every single junction has a 2% up or 2% down gravitational area, right? So that usually serves as a good little pull for a potential upside or downside depending on where you are. So in this case here, the RSI signal is sitting well within the gravitational zone of the bear weakness, which means that we could face a potential retracement here, but it could also be consolidation due to the fact that the SMA 14 is smack in the middle of the RSI here. So that could be resistance, and we could be bouncing in and out of this for some time if volume doesn't continue increasing. But on the daily time frame, it does look like it's expanding, so we're looking okay. All right, team. So now the last part of the analysis here would be the RSI. So 30-minute time frame already getting a bearish crossover. It is at slightly outside of the gravitational zone from the bear weakness, but so this is not giving us a bias towards an upside just yet. In fact, if we are going to face anything, it actually may face a continuation to the downside, but we already know that. And this is the 5-minute time frame, 10-minute, 15-minute, giving us validity for that downside thesis first. Okay, and yeah, so let's move on now to the bi-hourly time frame. Bi-hourly time frame is already getting a bearish crossover here. It is now outside of the gravitational zone, suggesting a continuation to the downside, and that is again very likely to face a downside first to maybe that target of around 140 to 142 before a push to the upside. But please remember that 140 target has been used for some parabolic runs to the upside in the past, historically speaking, right? So it's definitely a good area for us to consider. Now, moving on to the 8-hour time frame. 8-hour time frame is arguably within the gravitational zone here, and the SMA 14 is giving us no bias for direction as it is completely flattened. So there is an off chance here that we can face some support from the gravitational zone here on the RSI signal before a bounce to the upside. Okay, so that would be highly ideal. And if we don't face that, then there could be a regression here that we may be ignoring and not really paying attention to, right? So I guess it could be something like this right over here, right? So where we do face a little bit of a pullback here based on the 140 to 142 thesis before we move up to the upside. Before we move on to the upside, that could be this drop here on the 8-hour time frame before a continuation to the upside, giving respect to this trend line regression here. Okay, so now, yeah, similar situation here in the 12-hour time frame, still within that gravitational zone here. We will have to see how this is going to react, but the daily time frame, of course, hasn't gotten the read for what happened in the post market, so we're just going to have to wait and see how that reacts, and of course, we're going to have to see how the 3-day and 5-day react to that too. So I would stay away from looking at the daily. From looking at the daily to the 5-day RSI for now until we get the reaction from the post market activity tomorrow in the AM. Okay, team. So I do think that we do have a high probability here of touching back down to that area of around 140 to about 142. And if we are to face any further downside here, then I really wouldn't like to say this, but coming all the way back down here, while it doesn't sound so far-fetched, I guess we just have to say that there is a potential here of 126, but I really don't think we would face that, team. I do feel like the bottom sides here would be, I can't. I mean, if we were to face anything below the 140, I guess 130 to 132 could be it, but like I said, 140 seems okay. So yeah, team, please go ahead and make sure to give Trader Zero a follow and make sure to like and subscribe this video and to the channel here so that you can continue supporting the cause, right? Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good rest of your night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios, team.